Rave Reviews welcomes you to Tuesday's Terrors, where we have casual conversations about what the horror community is watching. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and join us for Tuesday's Terrors. With Grave Reviews, welcome to Tuesday's Terrors. We are on the ferry. We're heading across from the mainland over to Crockett Island so we can figure out what's going on with Midnight Mass. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing well. A little upset that we're rolling in right after the crock potluck and we don't get some of those yummy food. I tell you what, those hot dogs, the quarter-pound hot dog, that looked good.
I would say it did look good, but as we had noticed last week when when one of the dogs ate some of that hot dog, something bad happened to him. Don't know if
Not so
that's
good.
on purpose or not, but let's hope not, because I'd hate to think that maybe someone while we're here and talking to Aaron and some of the other people on the island, that especially if Bev was to offer us some leftovers, I'd hate to think that something bad might happen.
And that Beth, man, she is in that freaking closet with the poisons and what?
Yes, she is. She is, and she's also able to somehow convince you that everything that you say is the wrong thing, and she's got the right answer, and you're going to end up just about believing her.
Yeah, as a viewer, she is that character. She's the character you love to hate, the Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Does it really well to come off and play this person that you just, oh man, like you don't want to slap her because you don't hit somebody like that because then you're giving them what they want.
Yes.
But boy, does she shake the shit out of a
Yeah,
bitch,
you just want to go. You want to go. God, God, God bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Like if anybody needs to be judged, I wish it was you right now, just so you can see how terrible of a person you are.
Yes, and so this week we're looking at Proverbs, and Proverbs, in the original definition, the word Proverbs basically means comparison, but it's become to be known as wisdom. It's become
Wisdom, common sense.
common sense, exactly. So when you hear Proverbs, and in this case, in the book of Proverbs, as far as the story is concerned, it is like we're going to give you some knowledge. We're going to give you some background, and that's exactly what episode 3 is for. Episode 1 was building your knowledge of who you're dealing with. It was
beginning.
The Genesis. It was the beginning, right? The book of Psalms was book 2, and that's where you are the songs of praise, which we found that on 2, I like to call 2 the book of murders and miracles, right? Because you get your first murder, and you get your miracles, and there's a ton of miracles going on this island. People,
There are,
not only the large ones like Lisa actually walking out of her wheelchair at this point, but you've also got Mama not needing her glasses anymore, and Dad being able to dance with his wife because his back doesn't hurt anymore.
Oh yeah, which was a great moment with we've got the music in the background, and he's like, "Come on, let's get up," and she's like, "You're back," and he's like, whatever. And they
Just
dance,
with
and
me.
he picks her up and he twirls her, and they're young again, and then they're gonna go off to
do what married people do, or at least what I
wrestle.
hear. Wrestle. They're gonna wrestle naked
Right?
together.
Yeah, and good time for Riley to squeeze on out of there.
Yes.
Poor Warren. Warren though is he's got his own little love thing going. Lisa's able to sneak out of her house.
Yes.
And come and meet with him and get him out to disappear while Mom and Dad are having their moment of love.
I
go out in the canoe.
I love this montage to start this episode, because it starts okay, so let's take a second real quick. Genesis started with the car wreck. just a powerful, powerful
Oh
scene.
yeah.
And then the book of Psalms, it started with the cats on the beach. Again, another very powerful scene. This one starts with a montage. And the reason it starts with a montage is because Lisa has just been healed from her affliction, which she was crippled because she had gotten shot, right?
Because
Um,
we pick right up from that with her going to the doctor, and they're like, and the doctor's like, "Hey, I don't know, but spinal injuries sometimes heal themselves,
they've been
and
known to do it's,
use this cane.
yeah.
Use this cane. You know, put your weight on the cane. Your muscles are atrophied."
Yep. And you see her walking through the village, and all the other kids start kind of following with her. And I love this because as she's walking down the street, the non-believers are going,
People are coming. It's so good that she's
"Oh,
walking,
uh-huh.
and everybody kind of collects in and walks with her.
Yep, it's
And
very cool."
like the whole town is like, holy crap.
And
We all know
mhm.
that Joe Collie shot her,
Yep.
and she has been paralyzed
Yes.
for the past was it 4 years,
4 or
I
5
think.
years, yeah.
5 years. It's a length of time.
Yes.
She has been the crippled girl that goes to church
Yep.
every day
Yep.
almost. And it's like bringing the whole communities coming together. We're
Exactly.
starting to see this sorrow disappear. Like the everybody is in a hole
Yep.
in this town,
A-
and
And I love
we've
how on her way to church or to school, all the teenagers that are her age, they're all gathered together.
yeah,
But behind them by about 20 yards is a huge amount of the adults, and they're all following her as well. And Aaron's kind of going, "Ooh," you see her as because she's the
mhm.
teacher of the class, and she's like, "Okay, let her in, everybody. It's okay, let her in."
Yeah, everybody. It's just it's almost like it's weird that her welcoming her into the
Uh
school.
huh.
And it's her new life. Like this is what she was praying for
Yes.
was that God noticed her,
Yep.
and God saw her, and man, everyone here, including us, the viewer,
Yep.
is like, that's a freaking miracle. And not only, and you get those, okay, so when we're starting after this, we're seeing that, Father Paul
Yes.
is like Green Mile in it here.
Mm-hmm.
Another nod to Stephen King that
Yep.
he's got this darkness that's making him sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, this dude is good. He's sucking the awful out of these people.
Right, and that's
And he's,
it's
yeah,
almost like he's either drawing it out of them, or he's taking his spirit and giving it to them. It's one of those type of exchanges, and you could tell that because like right after Lisa gets is healed, he has to excuse himself, and he goes back to his room, and things are bad, right?
right. Yeah. He's like, it isn't the Green Mile where, the black flies come forth from his mouth and that's the bad. It's, oh, he's throwing up and it's blood and
Yeah.
he's not doing good and he's seizing and what's going on. And Bev is there.
Yeah.
Bev is right there. Holier than thou, Bev is there to help Father. But
But and I also love the fact that she's like, "Do I need to call Sarah, the doctor?" And
right.
and
Do I need to call the doctor? Look at the dude. He's not good.
no, not at all. And I love the fact that he's like, "No, just leave me alone. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be okay. Everything's fine."
A- And I picked this up watching it a third time through. And I am so glad, one, to be able to watch it with LG.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
I
I've been trying to get her to watch, and she's been hesitant because there's a lot of stuff we need to watch.
right.
And this didn't make her list, it made my list. And I'm like, you gotta. And watching with her, and I picked up the fact that, Bev, for being as holy as she is and as love with this church as she is, why is she so hesitant with Father Paul? He is, from an outsider point of view, this dude's dying. Like, it looks like he's dying.
Yep.
What do you mean? Should I call the doctor?
Well,
Of course, call the doctor.
and not only that, but if you think about the scene where Lisa gets up and starts walking, where everyone else is like, I guess she's
She's Is she jealous?
I
Is that,
it
like
feels
I'm
like, oh my god, you nailed it. That's
yeah,
exactly
dude.
what I thought. I thought to myself, she wants to be the the recipient of something holy. And
I built this church. I
uh-huh.
built the rectory. I'm the one that's here every day.
Why should
I'm
you dispel these miracles on these people when I'm the one who did this, that? Oh, that's
right.
exact. Oh, I think that's her character to a T.
She's you can get that. You get that vibe that it's that hesitancy, like
Yep.
I'm the holy one here.
A- And
And
and I will
is it
say
coming
this.
off as like maybe I question Father Paul a little bit because he's helping the wrong people, if you
Ex-
know what I mean.
exactly. And I will tell you this right now, for those of you who are watching this, I will say this wholeheartedly. Uh, the lady who plays her in this, oh my lord,
Samantha
does
Sloyan,
Samantha?
as
Yeah,
she's
she is
man, good stuff.
phenomenal. You okay? Flanigan has put together a team of actors and actresses for his films and his series that are like none other. They are, every single one of them meet their roles head on. And when we get to the scene where we talk about little Lisa, I'm going to tell you right now, Chris and I both were talking about this very briefly. That
Mhm.
when Chris and I were talking briefly, again, we don't talk about the shows in detail, but every once in a while, of course, we're human. There's going to be some things that we're excited about. And he's on his third viewing, I'm on my third viewing. When we see this scene with Lisa, which we'll get into in detail, he's said it and I said it. I've broke down in tears for the third time. So I'm saying that to say this: the crew of actors and actresses that Flanagan has put together for his projects.
Episode 3, I'm fully invested in most of the characters we've
Yes.
been presented here
Yep.
in Crockett Island.
I agree.
And you feel that with Lisa walking up to the school to the to start class. You
Yep.
feel that pride in you, like, oh man, like I've been watching her. She's been the disabled girl, and she's walking, and,
Yep.
and she's with her friends, and she could do the things, and she's on a cane. And then when she meets Warren later on that night, and she's dancing, like, look at me. Not
Uh-huh.
only can I walk again, but I can jump and I can dance,
And I
and
can
get the
run,
hell out here.
right?
Come on.
Come on. And that is a testament to the writing of this show, that you're literally at this point in time 2 hours and about 15 minutes or 20 minutes in with all three episodes to this point, that when
Yeah,
that happens, that you're joyful for her. You're like, "Oh my
absolutely.
god, that's awesome for her." You feel that in your heart, that is the reason that you should watch this show, because
Yeah.
there are moments of character development that make you go, "Oh my lord, what a wonderful job these people are doing." Because
The immersion factor here, the chemistry that the actors have with
yep,
each other. There's a reason why he keeps a core cast, or at least a roster off to the side.
yep.
Like, I'm going to make this, and I want you, and you. And
And if I were going to live on Crockett Island, right, I would want to be Erin's neighbor. I liked her
oh,
character so, because
absolutely.
she was so down to earth. I would love to sit down and talk and have dinner with the doctor, with Dr. Sarah. I would love to well, I couldn't crack a beer with him, but you know what I'm saying, to sit down with a cup of coffee with Riley.
Oh, the
I
whole family, the whole Flynn family,
I
like, they
love
seem
these people.
hardworking dad, very like an optimistic as hell mother.
Yeah.
Like, she's Annie Flynn is just Annie Flynn. She is God is great.
Yep, and to this point, I will tell you that even though I was not raised Catholic or Episcopal, which is, Catholic light, as you said, um, I don't know what it is about Father Paul's sermons at this point. They're pivotal to the story, because each episode he has had a a a sermon, if you will, that is pivotal to the title: Genesis, Psalms,
Yeah.
Proverbs. Um, but you've also noticed, I'm hoping at this point in time that you're also noticing that each episode, his sermons become more and more evangelical in
Fiery.
nature. Thank you.
This is fiery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's more. It's like I'm going to start here. I'm going to be nice and easy, and I love his voice. I love the way he talks, and he's almost like he doesn't give any breath at all. And he's
Right.
I love. But then when he's talking, and it's almost like you expect him to start you know thumping the Bible
He
and
does, and he does.
yeah.
He gets that on the desk. Like,
Yep.
God gives us miracles. Is it the abstract?
No.
No, it is real. And he gets that
Oh my
where
God.
you're like, whoa.
Yeah, so this again, this is the building that blocks that are going on. So we could, oh boy, we're 18 minutes in, we haven't even done anything yet. So it starts with really the pivotal point is starting with Eliza at the doctor, and the doctor going, "Hey, yeah, it might be a miracle, it may not. Let's get her to the mainland. Let's run some tests." And the mom and dad, Flanders, as you like to call him,
Yeah.
are like, you know what?
I
It does.
really don't think so.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right to question a
We could do
miracle.
that, but
Mhm.
why question the miracle?
And not only that, but they're honest about it. They're like, hey, the house that we live in, we are now renting because we had to
Right.
sell it to
We've spent and I love that moment where
yep,
he has that like, we spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and you are worth every penny
and then
and
some.
more.
Exactly. And you could tell he means it.
Yeah, like, but we're tapped, bro.
Uh-huh.
Like we're we've hit our cap and went beyond it, and she's better. Let's just be thankful.
Let's
This
just be
happened through
thankful.
our faith. Our faith brought us to church. Our faith brought us to church to
Yep.
put her in the church to have this miracle or healing, however you want to look at it, occur in the church that we have been praying at for this to happen.
Yep.
Don't ruin a bad thing.
Nope. I agree. I agree. And so once we go there, then we see her in the town, and we see all the kids and everything that we've already talked on. And then it kind of switches to a different, era,
Mhm.
or a different area of the film, and that's where all of a sudden you see um uh, Mr. Flynn pulling out that record,
Yeah.
and he's putting the record and the needle on, and he walks over to his wife, and he reaches out and grabs her hands, and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Dance with me."
She's over there reading without
Uh-huh.
her glasses,
Without
you
her glass,
know?
exactly, without her glasses. Good point.
Yep. And I love the moment where he gets up, and I will, I've gone through 2 back surgeries. So, as a person, when you get up and you're like,
Wait a minute, there's no pain
wow,
here.
like that didn't hurt.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, you could tell he was like totally
he's
expecting
like,
it to.
well, that's weird. I'm gonna put on and the whole time, like even choosing the album that he's gonna
Huh?
pull out, he's just like, you know what?
Huh?
Put on some of that, smooth music, and hey baby, come dance with me.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah.
What
What,
are you
but,
doing?
but what about your back? And
What about
he's like, just
it's
dance
that
with me.
husband look,
Hmm.
F my back.
Hmm.
Like this is a moment,
Yep.
and let's enjoy this. And not only do they start dancing, and but he's picking her up and he twirls her,
Yep.
and
And
you
she's
just
giggling like a like a little girl
yeah,
at this point.
and Riley goes next door to Aaron's house, and she already has a cup of coffee waiting for him.
Yep.
She hands him the cup of coffee. She knew he was coming. You've got Lisa like, Warren, sneak out with me.
Yeah.
Look at me, I can dance.
This
Let's go
montage
row
is
out.
what this as a viewer, to me, what this montage says is like this community is celebrating, right, the miracles that have happened in there, especially the Lisa, because I don't think they really fully grasp that like the people who are whose eyesight is getting better, and whose back ailments, and whose like we said, that almost cancerous sounding cough
Yeah.
is no longer there. They're not grasping that. They've only grasped the big one, which is Lisa,
No.
but they're
Right.
celebrating this. They're celebrating, even if it's unconscious. They're celebrating the fact that it feels like there's been a corner turned and that things are starting to look up for this island of
Yeah. All the good.
yeah, this island of
The
misfit toys, right? You know,
you
they're
have a moment that night where love is in the air.
yep,
We've got Warren sneaking away with his girlfriend. Not something you can do in a wheelchair,
no, not at all.
especially a canoe to roll out into the middle of nowhere where at least there's no fresh cat shit.
Yep,
And and it's just Riley and Aaron having it's that we're having coffee together on the porch.
yep,
It's just a great moment. Again, great use of music. We're bebopping away to love
yep,
and
yep. It's
wild.
oh, it's so good, so
It's
good,
wild.
so good.
And this inspiration kind of moves to the point where we see Lisa. Oh no, let's back up. We see Joe Collie
Yes,
in his camper
yes.
watching TV. It's a mess. He's a bit of a hoarder. Mm, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Right. So you hear this knocking,
Yep,
and Joe's like,
go away. Yeah,
right. He's like,
uh,
the drunk old man, get off my lawn, basically.
right. Yeah, and he gets up ready to chase one of the island's occupants that probably gives him grief and opens the door to the girl that he accidentally shot. And oh, what?
Wow. And I love the fact that she didn't wait. She literally, as soon as he opened the door, she just walked in. And the way the conversation started when she's kind of looking around and she turns the TV off and she sees the gun up on the
Mm.
rack and says, "Is that the one?" And he's like, "No, that's my grandfather's. I couldn't stand that to even see that anymore, so I
I
threw it
couldn't
in the
look at
bay." And
right.
her looking around and going, "This is exactly what I thought this would look like."
And then
Oh,
to go into that speech of hatred that she's had for him and hoping that he lives the most miserable life.
yes.
And I got my wish because look at you.
Uh-huh.
And dude, she goes through this emotion of hatred for this man
Yes.
and talking and the venom coming out at him
And
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 him
and
just taking it
and the
because I'm supposed to
tears
take it.
and right, and the tears that are rolling. He actually said at one point in time, because someone asked him why he didn't leave the island, he goes, "That would be too easy. I felt like
Right.
I couldn't leave when this is later. He tells
Mhm.
us that he's like, for me to leave would have been too easy. I needed to stay." He's literally saying, "I have to be here and accept my punishment because I need to see her in that wheelchair every day to know what I did."
Right, and we've
Right?
had that moment where she spit and venom at him from 50 yards away, and now she's there going, "You need to shut the and listen
Yeah.
because I've got things to say,"
Yep.
and unloads on this poor
And
guy.
and
And every venomous strike you can see,
yeah,
eh,
Joe's
his
like
heart.
and he's
It's a
taking it.
shot.
Yeah.
He's taking the shots.
Yep.
He's taking them,
And as the
and
tears are rolling down her face, she says, "But I want to tell you something, Joe Collie. If God can forgive you, I can forgive you. And I hate you, but I forgive you.
right.
And you have to forgive
Yeah,
yourself."
dude, and to turn around and
Oh,
the only one that is standing in your way is
is you.
you.
What a wonderful scene. This scene was written so well. Look at me.
The actors in it, what
I'm
a
just
great
talking
scene.
about it. The tears are coming up.
It's a heavy scene.
Oh,
It's a heavy
heavy.
scene where you can feel
Heavy.
her pain. You can see her pain. You can see his pain.
And
And her coming and telling him, like, I'm gonna be mad at you for a while, but
but
I can't hate you because God doesn't hate you. And
uh-huh.
you know what? You need to stop hating yourself. Oh,
Oh,
that's
just
what he's been doing. And he realizes it and he knows it.
I
It's penance.
I full this is my 3rd time watching this, and I literally said to myself, "I wonder if she's gonna hug him when she's done." I've seen it twice before, and I knew what was going on,
Right.
but I'm thinking
No,
to
and
myself,
she just leaves
"Oh."
him with that wisdom and tells him that, Proverbs, you know what that means, Joe? It means wisdom, Joe.
Yeah,
And what I've learned from all of this is this, Joe. And you know what, Joe? You haven't learned yet.
yeah,
Learn it, Joe. It's wisdom.
figure it
Take
out,
it.
baby, figure it out. Exactly.
Deuces.
Oh,
And she leaves, and you're just like, oh,
and of course, she leaves, and Joe is just like you can tell at that point in time, it was like someone reached down and said, "Here, Joe, let me take the weight off of you now." Right?
yeah,
And he
that
just
you get that
breaks down.
that weird sigh where he's breathing in, and it's that, like, those years of guilt that he's stacked on himself, that at least some of it is gone because
Well, I think it's the he's taking the deep breath there and he's taking that in that sob, right? It's because it doesn't it's not he's not going, "I'm free," but
no,
he's going, "I'm allowed to be free."
there's hope.
There's hope. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Great way to put that, Chris. Yes, there's hope.
There's hope.
And I loved this scene. This is one of like 4 scenes in this movie, as far as interrelational conversations that have made me understand why Mike Flanagan is as great as he is at this type of work.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm gonna
Y
quit blubbering now.
No, no, that was good. We and we're left with all of this change and stuff, and we go to now first we have Ali telling Sheriff Hassan, "Hey, listen, my friends all go to this church."
I love the line where he goes, "Well, all the kids at school go," and his dad goes, "No, they don't."
Yeah, he finds a Bible,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, "Listen, all my friends go there. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Okay, well, most of them do,
Okay.
and okay, and I want to know what it's all about, like." And I did look at the Muslim original. God doesn't work this way. God doesn't provide you miracles, because providing this miracle would mean that that person didn't deserve the miracle.
I
So
love the line where he says, "God is not going to heal one person and then right directly across the street allow a baby with a brain tumor to die."
look at your mother, who believed in Allah and believed in her faith all the way
Never
through the hell that she went through with pancreatic cancer.
and never faltered.
Never faltered in her faith, because there's no such thing as a miracle. And that's what we believe. And he's just like, no, my friend.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's an answer for this. There's an answer for this.
Yep.
So we fast forward to a school board meeting with Aaron and Bev, who are the teachers, sitting in on the community. We've got the mayor and his wife and members of the community. And Sheriff Hassan bringing up, listen, handing out Bibles, not cool
Not cool.
in school. This is a public school.
Yep.
Reading scripture before class, not cool. You can't be doing this. And
And I love the fact that as soon as Bev like retorts him, he goes, "Good point. That's exactly what I'm saying." Right?
he molds Bev into saying, like, where he's saying, if I were to come and speak the truths that I know.
Hmm.
And she's dead set that he's a heathen. He's not Catholic, so he doesn't believe in. And he's like, no, 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 no. My son knows about Jesus. We
Yeah.
speak about Jesus. He's a prophet.
We
He's a
believe that
he gave us words from God. We
because it starts it just every okay, so let's take a second real quick.
Let's do that.
Genesis started with the car wreck. Just a
They don't.
no, they don't.
Okay, well, most of them do.
Okay.
And okay, and I want to know what it's all about. Like, and I did look at the Muslim original. God doesn't work this way. God doesn't provide you miracles, because providing this miracle would mean that that person didn't deserve the miracle.
I
So
love the line where he says, Um, God is not going to heal one person and then right directly across the street allow a baby with a brain tumor to die.
Look at your mother who believed in Allah and believed in her faith all the way
Never
through the hell that she went through with pancreatic cancer.
and never faltered.
Never faltered in her faith because there's no such thing as a miracle. And that's what we believe. And he's just like, no, my friend.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's an answer for this. There's an answer for this.
Yep.
So we fast forward to a school board meeting with Aaron and Bev, who are the teachers, sitting in on the community. We've got the mayor and his wife and members of the community. And Sheriff Hassan bringing up, listen, handing out Bibles, not cool
Not cool.
in school. This is a public school.
Yep.
Reading scripture before class, not cool. You can't be doing this.
And I love the fact that as soon as Bev like retorts him, he goes, "Good point. That's exactly what I'm saying." Right?
He molds Bev into saying, like, where he's saying, if I were to come and speak the truths that I know.
Mhm.
And she's dead set that he's a heathen. He's not Catholic, so he doesn't believe in. And he's like, no. My son knows about Jesus. We
Yeah.
speak about Jesus. He's a prophet.
We believe that
He gave us words from God. We love Jesus. We just don't believe he's the Messiah.
Well, he actually even didn't say that. He just says
He doesn't say that. He's
we
a
love
prophet.
Jesus, whatever. But we also know that the word of God over years has been influenced by man. That's the reason there's so many different versions of the Bible. We just believe that the Quran is the final version.
This is what God gave to us, saying you can't change this. So we don't change it.
Exactly.
Because I mean, and in all actuality, let's look at the Christian faith through the years.
Mhm.
It is wrought with power, and
Yep.
with corruption, with greed, with
You know,
crazy things that would be considered disgusting these
yep.
days.
Well, we don't even have to go there.
But it's the time.
Let's look.
This is the evolution of what's going on.
Well,
And
and let's look at the King James version, right? This is
right,
the most used version is the King
the
James
most
version.
used.
King James, when he commissioned the scripture to be translated, asked them to make it more poetic. That's
Right.
the reason that you get all the these and thous and those and that kind of stuff. And so is it possible that some stuff got lost in translation? Absolutely. But you know what?
Absolutely.
So what?
So what? It's with any religion and any faith, most of them point you towards don't be a dick.
Yeah. So here it's funny. Again, we've said this before. When dealing with this particular show, it's kind of hard not to get into religion, at least a little bit. We try to keep it very high level.
Right.
I told my wife a long time ago. I said it's really sad that the most wondrous and dead on religious statement I've ever heard from man was painted on the side of a barn in northern Kentucky. It literally said, "There are many paths to God. Please choose one."
Right.
And I'm looking at that going, "Yep, that's about the size of it." you
If
know.
you listen, if you should believe in something,
Mhm,
something bigger.
mhm.
And this is without going into the side of religion, because this is a Catholic church. Like this is believing in something good. And Father Paul kind of breaks that down. Is
Yes.
that like listen, if you believe in God and you do good things, then that's all that's really asked of you
Hmm.
is to believe in something and to be a person that's a member of this community, to realize that you're given life as a gift.
Yep.
And
And I
these are non-denominational ideas.
and
These are just
I think that's where the scene in the schoolhouse is kind of going. He's saying, "Hey, listen, we believe this what you believe to a point. You actually don't even know it, but you believe what we believe to a point as well. The only
mhm.
thing I'm asking you to do is don't do it in a school forum." But what does Bev do? She turns his words
She
on him
turns that.
again. Oh my God, she's such a
Oh,
great manipulator. And I
she is so good
and
at
I
that.
love the fact that Aaron knows this, and Aaron tries her best to step in and go, "Hey, wait a minute. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that that we shouldn't be handing out Bibles in a public forum,
Don't
and that
and scripture
yeah,
and scripture in mornings.
and he's correct, and she just Beth just
Well,
mows
I'm just sharing
right
words
over the
of
top of it.
wisdom. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm just sharing some good words. I mean, wouldn't you want that? And I love how she passive aggressively turns it around that the Islamic religion is terrible and the Islamic religion is violent. And it's that play to where it is so offhanded that I could sit here and say that that offends me, and she'll find 6 ways to Sunday to tell me how that's not her intent.
Yep, and I love it.
And I
I love.
can't do it. I can't do it.
She
And yet,
she is such a wonderful actress. And okay, so eventually we're going to get into the House of Usher. She was great in that too. I love this lady. I'm going to start looking into what else has she been in because I have to watch more of her. She is so good at what she does.
right.
Um, so then where do we go from there, sir?
We go from there where we go to the sermon, this fiery sermon. We're no longer like looking for our way and beginning again and the resurrection. We're getting into God is real. I have shown you God. You have
Yep.
seen God. We cannot deny God's existence.
I love
And
I love the uh, God talks about eternity. Okay, this is one of my favorite things he does.
mhm,
Now I'm going to paraphrase all this, so please be
yeah,
patient with me. But he's like, uh, God has promised us eternity. I can't accept. I can't wrap my head around what eternity is. I'm sure you can't. I mean, we use it as an analogy all the time. I'm stuck in traffic. It seemed like I was there
right.
forever, and
Mhm.
and I had to wait, and it seemed like an eternity. But when God says eternity, it's the same thing as he says that's not what he says. He says that, just like when he
It
promises us,
is
yeah,
promised.
when he promises us the miracle, bam, we
We
saw
will,
that is and
yeah,
bam, and it's funny because
it is.
before this, everything he brought was very, um, he's talking in riddles, and,
Open
and he's very,
and bring you in. And
and
what do you know? You got a full church now.
yeah, and so,
And we're
and that,
thumping, and we're almost literally thumping that
and
Bible.
it's funny to me not funny, but as I mentioned earlier, that each one of his sermons get a little more fiery, a little more emotional, a little bit more. And at this point, at least at this point in the show, the Islanders are all in for it because it's growing, and people are getting better, and.
Yeah, we've seen the miracles. I feel good,
Yes.
and she feels good, and she's walking,
Yep.
and like it all started here.
It all started with you, Father
And we
Paul.
all, and it's that time of year where we all go to church. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
like Easter's coming, Jesus is watching. We should probably go.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's that time of year.
Yep.
So, and he builds off of that. The church is full this time.
Yep.
There's people standing in the back.
And
So yeah, after the sermon going back to the cottage, to which cancel everything. You're sick.
yep.
You gotta do something. We gotta
And Dr. Sarah says, no, you might have a little bit of an infection. Your blood pressure is a little high. Your fever's a little high,
temperatures up. Yeah,
nothing looks really bad.
yeah.
You're gonna be
Virus.
fine. You're gonna be fine.
It's a virus. Yeah.
Right.
And it's very important that he keeps his AA meetings.
Exactly.
And lo and behold, we have an inspired Joe Collie.
Yeah.
Waiting for Riley at the AA meeting.
Which I love the fact that he got there early and was waiting to come in, and Riley's like surprised that he's there, so they go in. It's a really good. Which,
yeah,
earlier we talked about the two chairs with the one empty one in the middle, and guess which one Joe takes? The empty one in the middle. Fantastic, great callback,
absolutely.
Great scene.
I mean, the two people that are in need on this island
Mm-hmm.
have now shown up. And Joe is inspired by not only Lisa coming to him, but learning that Riley's been doing this.
Yes.
We had an earlier meeting in this episode.
There is a great scene, part of this scene here where Father Paul looks at Riley and says, what would you like to say to Joe? He's like, I'm not the right person to say. And the priest goes, that's bullshit.
Bullshit. I love Father Paul in this part where he's just like ripping it out of him. Like, stop fucking around. I'm tired of it. I have been honest with you. It's time for you to fucking be honest with me.
Yep. Well, I came here with you. You did not believe at all. You have come so far. You are the only one who can talk to him and let him know. And then Riley steps back and literally he says, you know what, Joe? You came. That's the important part. It won't be the important part forever, but for tonight, that's all you need. And I sat there going, you know what I sat there doing? I said, that is a director who has fought his own demons with alcohol.
Absolutely.
Playing into a scene to make you know he understands what's going on, and you feel that.
It was Aaron's reach to Riley.
Yes.
That, like, hey, work on today. Tomorrow's tomorrow.
Exactly. And he laid that exact same thing out to Joe. Now keep in mind, of our faithful listeners, that this is the second AA meeting of the show. The first one, we kind of grazed over because the only thing that really happened there that was of major consequence was that Riley confronted Father Paul on the miracle. He goes, I can, because keep in mind, Riley at this point in time has lost his faith. He says, I can explain everything.
Everything's logical.
I can explain why she walked. I can explain how that happened. If there was a misdiagnosis, I can write all that off. But the only thing I can't write off is how did you know? And I love Father Paul's response. He says, Riley, if I was talking to anyone else, anyone but Riley, and he says it that way. If I was speaking to anyone but Riley, I could tell them. I just knew. I had a feeling when she walked by me. It was like, this feeling fell over me, and anyone else would believe that, but Riley would not. And he goes, but that's all I can give you. It was a really strong part of the because it's starting to bring Riley into it, right?
Right. And going into the second meeting, you're still getting these feelings from Father Paul that he is a humble person. He is only providing a service, the service of bringing us together, the service of pointing us in the right direction. That's all he is. I'm just here to say, like, be real, be truthful. And I love that, like, where he comes at Riley, like, all of a sudden it's basically, damn it, Riley, you're the only one that can talk to him. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah. And I love the fact that he just literally calls him out. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. And it makes you sit back and go, wow, that was strong.
What would I say? What would I do? Like, if I'm stuck I don't know what I would say to Joe Colley, but if you put me on the line, that's, hey, you know what? You started. And if you have to start again tomorrow, we start again tomorrow.
And I would have been just as happy if he'd have looked at him and went, let's concentrate on today, what you did today, right? And kind of mirrored what Aaron said to him, because it was
almost, he took it, made it his own, gave it to Joe as his own.
Yep. I love
it.
I love it.
Great. And like you said, this is writing, this directing in this part it's somebody that knows, somebody that was chasing the dragon, somebody that was chasing the drink, somebody that knew that this is what happens with anything that you can become addicted to.
Exactly. Fantastic. So then once, and I love the fact that when the meeting's over, right? before we talk about Father Paul and what happens with him,
Hmm.
I love the fact that Joe and Riley are just walking together, having a conversation, and it sounds like a real conversation because Joe's like, "Do you think that we ever get better?" And Riley's like,
Yeah.
"No, I don't think we do, but I think if we try hard enough, we can change." That was a
Right.
really touching.
And you feel like maybe Riley's taking some of that with him too. Like he's
Mhm.
giving this knowledge to Joe,
Yep,
but you know what? Maybe I'm believing in it too.
yep,
Like maybe we can change.
yep,
Maybe, maybe there is something bigger out there for me.
yep.
And it's that hope. He still has that bit of hope.
I love it. I love it. And then we see what happens to Father Paul because
Uh,
as soon as they leave, and he's like, I love it because you can again, third time watching, you see that he's like struggling at this point, going, he's like, no, no, you guys go ahead. I've got this.
now,
I'll close up.
before we get into this whole, like he's pushing them out because as soon as he's gone, he's retching again.
On the
There's
floor, exactly.
something going on. There's something going on. And before he falls in front of the mayor and Bev and Sturge and, everybody, we have another moment where Bev is playing with those bottles of poison again.
Oh yeah.
What the hell? The last time this bitch was playing with poison, a beautiful puppy dog died.
Yep. 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 Yep.
So what's going on now? And now we have Father Paul
Yep.
going through what looks to be a poisoning.
Yes.
He is foaming at the mouth. He is seizing. He stops breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all left. The mayor's wife is in hysterics. The mayor's just like
Bev
dude
is
diddling,
screaming.
his brain is he's fried. He's like, oh no.
He's like Homer. What did you do?
Yeah, I gotta find the good in this. Maybe there's some baby sharks around here. I don't know. It's just, and Bev has that. It almost seems like I don't know. She has a strange look through this whole thing. Amazed, surprised, but maybe not.
It's really funny how she's screaming 1 second, but when the camera's on her, she's like,
Yeah, how far is this going? And he
right.
stopped breathing.
Yep.
And
Did you
Ned
notice his
Flanders is
eyes?
down.
Someone is being strangled. The blood vessels in her eyes pop, so their eyes look like they're full of blood. So it literally looked like he was choking on his own blood.
Yeah.
Flipping great seeing the way this worked, and then all of a
And,
sudden,
and everybody's standing around just like, oh
and he's like,
no.
he comes back to life after
They
they checked his pulse, everything. He's dead.
dead. Like, what do we do? It's just before the words of, oh shit, now what?
Yeah.
He comes back to life, scares the shit out of everybody.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
all just like, what?
Yep. And
He's okay.
I love the fact that at one point in time in the show, Bev looks at him and goes, it took Christ 3 days. It took you merely seconds or moments, merely moments. This is where you start to understand that something's not right, Father
What's
Paul.
going on? This dude he was dead. He was
Mhm.
not there anymore. And he came back like Lazarus. And
Yep.
there seems to be, I picked up on it on this third view.
Yes.
Maybe I'm wrong, but man, it seems like a little disappointment in old Bevy's face.
And well, again, like we've said previously, Bev really, Bev has believed that this was her church, and she does not like the fact that this young guy is coming in there and really taking over the congregation, where they're looking to him. As a matter of fact, there's a scene in this one that where the town is coming up and going, hey, please pray for us. My husband's been sick. And Bev's on the porch going, God doesn't work that way. And she leads them in prayer. And you can see by the look on her face that she's loving the fact that they're
Oh,
coming to
I'm
her.
running the show.
Uh-huh.
Father Paul's back there sick. I can take on this because
Yep.
I am the right hand of Monsignor Pruitt.
Yep.
It's kind of making more sense now that no wonder Bev loved Monsignor Pruitt. Dude wasn't all there. dude was he couldn't find himself for most of the time. He was easy to control.
When Father Paul comes back to life, that's pretty much how this one ends, kind of. We
Kind
skipped
of.
over a big portion of this, so we're gonna have to go back in time, timey wobbly wobbly, back to the beginning. And the
Right.
reason we did it this way is because there's a major section of this movie where the dialogue of the movie is going to, or of the show, is going to tell you, again, Proverbs, it is teaching, right? They're teaching you some things on this one that you need to know for the rest of the series, and that is the fact that when the Monsignor went to Israel, he walked the road of Damascus and got lost in a sandstorm.
Lost. We get this through a great confessional of Father Paul going into the confessional on the side of confessing
Yep. And he's
to speak to
dispersing.
God himself.
Right, and this is dispersed through the show in
Through
little
the whole show.
segments. That's the reason we
And
kind of kept it to the end.
we could have touched on it, and it's great how it's filtered and plotted through this episode that we get this entire story of, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. No, that's not right. Forgive me, Father, for I will sin.
I'm going to sin. So you come to find out that this trip to the confessional for himself to God is actually before his first sermon to the congregation. This goes back to like before the beginning of the first one.
Right. I am going to tell hard lies to this congregation in order to comfort them. Father Pruitt is fine. He's on the mainland. He's on the mend. He will come back. And we know this man is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And he has that moment with Riley too, where he tells Riley that like, just so you know, he's not going.
He's not going to. And the thing that is great about the way the scene is done and the way it's dispersed through the whole show is he's relaying the story in pieces that correspond with what's going on. So at the beginning of it, he's talking about how Father was a lot sicker than the people thought when they sent him, and that
very much so out of his mind,
right? And so while you're seeing the town celebrating the celebrating, as we talked about earlier, about the miracle and how everyone's feeling better and how they're making a turn, just before that just after that you hear him talk about how I'm going to be lying to them, but I'm trying to get them ready for the miracles that come. So all these things are just a little tidbit nuggets that you discover that are starting to open your eyes to what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Conveying that was great too. The fact that he did it through his own confession to God that, like, this is what I'm going to do for the good of your work.
Yes.
Father, the Monsignor went to Jerusalem, completely in the throes of dementia.
Yes.
You can get that by the tour guides kind of corralling him, like, "Oh, sir, like, over here,
come over here, Father, come over here,
come over." And this poor man who was sent here by his congregation, Bev,
right,
has taken the walk on the road to Damascus and found himself without a tour guide, in a sandstorm of a century.
Yep. And he stumbles across as he described it, an opening in the sand that was basically providing him shelter.
Maybe a church from hundreds of years ago.
Yes.
We don't know, buried by the sands of time.
Yes.
And the Monsignor Pruitt is dying. He's found shelter from the storm, but he has no water. He has no nothing. He doesn't know where he is. He's confused. He's scared. He's cold. And an angel appeared before me. And I love that you have this 8-foot tall figure with a head balding. It's bald and it looks
Yes.
deformed, but yet it has the glow that you see in every religious
Yes.
painting
And I love
behind his head.
and I love the fact that he said, "And I saw the angel, and I was sore afraid," which is
Sore afraid.
which is
Oh,
scripture. And I was like, "Oh, that is so well done."
whoa, sore afraid. And as you should be, because the angel falls upon him. And oh, it's the angel. No, it's the vampire. It's not an angel. It's a freaking vampire. He's
It's a
eating
demon,
you.
it's a vampire. It's you don't really know at this point, you know.
And he was going to the abyss. He was going to the
Yes.
beyond. And the angel said unto me, drink
Drink.
my blood.
Yes.
And the angel cuts like most vampire lore and allows Monsignor Pruitt to drink his own blood.
Yes.
And Monsignor Pruitt sees it as a religious experience, a meeting of God.
Yes.
God's angel came unto me and said, drink from this cup. It is of my blood of the new covenant.
Yes. Oh, so
Oh,
well done.
oh,
I
that's how you're going to bring a vampire into a religious
I
based movie.
and I love the fact
Ooh.
that he's the next morning when he walks out into the sun, and he has no clue, right? And he holds his hand
None.
up to shine the light, and he sees the hand, and he's like, "It's young."
It's young. He
Oh,
is Father Pruitt before the Monsignor, before the
right.
man that showed up to Crockett Island in the beginning.
So what he during the story you hear him talk about how he's bringing the angel back to Crockett Island, back to
And
his
how
people.
hard it was.
Yeah, and he's like, so I would travel during the day, and then it would come to me at night, and I knew that I had to hide it during the day because the angel of the Lord was afraid of the light.
And how he kind of spun that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And how he would pray and the angel would show up until finally he packed him in earth in a box and brought him to where he was needed the most.
Which now tells you why, right? Three viewings in, why when he first got to the island and he brought the case in and he unstrapped it, he heard the knocking on the inside. Now you know how the
At this point, you know
angel.
the inner workings and the layout. So it was where Father where the Monsignor lived.
Yep.
It was his home. So that's where this box was. That's what was in the box. That's what was knocking back. An angel, a vampire, a demon. What's going
I
on?
actually have heard people at this point in time who have speculation saying that maybe it is an angel that is a dark angel. Maybe it's one
A
of the
fallen
a
angel.
fallen angel. Exactly. And I'm
Right.
sitting there going, at this point, I'm like, whoa,
The Nephilim. There is so many tangents you can go on to when it comes
absolutely.
to lore and myth right now that
And
you're like, but in his mind, it was the angel of the Lord that saved him. And it
yes,
did. It saved him. It brought him back to his youth and said that I could do this for your parish.
yes,
I can bring this island that is full of nothing but sorrow back to
yes.
its glory. I can bring it back as God's work.
And
Oh my God.
yeah, and here's my thinking on this is no matter what this thing is, whether it's angel, dark angel, demon, or a vampire, whatever the case may be, because the Monsignor was riddled with dementia and possible Alzheimer's, that and all he knew, the only thing he knew was his own faith. And when he looked up and saw that figure with the halo behind it, he immediately said, "Angel of the Lord," and there is nothing anyone could do or say that's going to change his mind, because once he became healed again, he went down into the depths thinking that this was an angel of the Lord. He came out the other side whole again. You're not going to be able
Mhm.
to convince him otherwise.
No,
period.
completely. And now we kind of realize that he brought him back and what he was back. And oh, dear God, he has been giving the congregation the blood of the angel
Because
as the sacrament.
you look back on it now and you see that he's always been there adding his own
The moment
sacrament
where they
to the
ran out of the wine
yeah,
and he was seen emptying his own flask in there saying, "Here's the lighter, let's go."
yeah,
Oh no,
Yeah,
he's
right,
been
roll over
giving the
right back.
congregation
Oh,
this blood.
every
yeah.
This
what's funny is
vampire
every
blood,
time I
this
see this
demon
movie
blood, this
now, when I see him
cancer.
go
Whatever the
across
case
the
may be, right?
table, that's what happens.
Right,
It's
as of right now, you're
roll over
still
right back.
convinced that
Oh, what's
Father
funny is every
Paul,
time I
who is
see this movie
Monsignor
now,
Pruitt,
when I see him go
who is
across
Father
the
John,
table, that's what
Uh-huh.
happens. It's
And this
roll
is
over right
how
back.
the
See this
episode
movie now,
ends.
when I see him go
Remember
across the
earlier,
table.
Chris had mentioned that you see Bev staring at this at this picture on the wall, and she kind of looks at it and she goes, "It's a miracle." You think she's talking about him living again. Well, you find out in the
it's
final
not.
shot what it is.
Yep.
I love this point of view, slow across the room, scan in on this picture because
On
it,
a newspaper clipping
yes,
that's framed on the wall.
it brings it
Oh,
by doing it and pacing it out just perfectly, it brings you into that shot to where it makes you feel like feelings wise that you are seeing it for the first time, which you are, but you're looking at it and
everyone in that room is coming to that
it's a
realization.
clipping of the church when it was first built and the original Monsignor standing outside, and it is a picture of Father Paul. So now
Right.
you know that the original Monsignor
Father
is
John, who became Monsignor Pruitt,
yes.
is Father Paul.
Which now you know why Sarah's mom, the doctor's mom, when she first seen him, goes, "Oh,
John.
John," and he's like, "No, no, 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 no.
And
That's
that's
easily
another moment
confused."
that we see that kind of shows the progression of she's been taking the sacrament at home and she's seen going upstairs, which she couldn't do anymore. She's going downstairs. This is my room. This is that.
I
And
l-
has that moment
yes, that moment when
of
she's
clarity, that lucid moment. Now, I've had a family member that was in the grips of somewhat of dementia. It wasn't late stage, it was part of that, but would move on to those moments. And then you go to a lucid moment.
yep,
And she had that, like, Sarah, my beautiful daughter, Sarah, I have been someplace
dark.
dark.
Oh, I love that line. I've been
And
someplace dark, but okay, so my mom has dementia. And this character, when she said this touched me so hard because she
it's
goes, "I've
doing,
been somewhere dark, but I see you and I know you, and you are my lovely daughter, Sarah." That to me, I was like, you know what? I've had my mom look at me and look at pictures from my high school years and say, "Who is this?" I would love to have that moment,
yeah.
you know.
And it's deep. It's
So
this show really cuts in on the hard moments in life
it
that you've
does, and
experienced.
God bless him. I mean, again, the way every single one of these characters. I know we're in a horror movie, right? We're in a horror show, but every one of
Yeah,
these characters are real people, and
yeah.
there's someone you know, and that's what I think makes this work. That's the reason that when we very first started, we said Midnight Mass is an adult horror because it
It's
is true.
sophisticated.
Hmm.
It's very it's deep. It's got there's a lot more. There's a drama in here.
Yep.
There is such, and the sorrow are sorrows that everyday people could be experiencing, but they're the scars you keep hidden, the addictions, the um the spousal abuse that Aaron left, um in order to, uh, that she why she's a single mother,
Hmm.
that's pregnant. The all of this sorrow are things that have happened to people. I'm a working guy. I work every day. I mean,
Yes.
I very rarely get days off. It's what we do as a working class. You get up, you go to work because This is what you do in
Exactly.
order to adult. It's in order to
And
afford the
adulting
things.
sucks.
Yeah, it's overrated, bro. But I like talking on YouTube. And in order for me to continue to talk on YouTube about some cool horror stuff, I got to go to work every
Yep.
day. So,
Yep.
it touches on that with the flins and that the backaches and having just push through it, dude, because suck it up. Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. We got to feed the family, right?
Right. So it hits on all of these nerves of real life problems and real life experiences
Yep.
that, man, when it hits on ones that are close to the heart,
Wow.
it is powerful stuff.
So next week we move into book 4, the book of Lamentations.
Lamentations. This is where this story turns. We take a turn here. I'm not going to say bad, good, because we're at a very good balance right now.
Yes,
There's a
we
lot
are.
of good things happen. We're still aware of all of the awful in life.
Yep.
Where do we go from here?
Here's the situation. At this point, at the end of 3, you're saying to yourself, okay, is it an angel? Is it a demon? Is it a vampire? Is it a dark angel? Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Your balancing act is, if it is indeed not an angel and it's something bad, how is all this good coming from it? So we're and that's where the next episode is going to really start answering those questions. So hold on to your seats, boys and girls. It gets rough from here.
Right. And it's fun because there's 7 episodes in this show. At the end of 3, we hit roughly the halfway point.
Yes.
And this is where maybe we get a little more horror.
Yeah.
Only because now the secret's out. There's an angel among us.
But the only people who
we've
know
been
that,
drinking his blood.
Yeah, and the only people who knows that at this point is Father Paul and us, the audience.
And we've got our 4 that know that we have someone who has resurrected himself.
Yes.
Another miracle,
right,
that only a few people were witness to.
And they are going to have to keep it very, very quiet. So, Chris, is there anything else you'd like to say about Midnight Mass before we sign off this week?
Honestly, episode 3, if you're not all in, then I'm not sure what to tell you, because all in. Episodes 4 is going to be so fun. Book 4, Lamentations. I can't wait to talk about that with you. You are watching Tuesday's Terrors.
Yes.
We are live in the chat saying, hey,
you're watching this with us.
Hello, I am Chris /Dragon Buddy in the chat. You'll see that. I psychic waves.
You're going to see things like welcome to Great Reviews, just by stopping in, that you are a member of the Talking Dead, that you are one of us. Things like that are going to be popping up on your screen right about
absolutely
now.
Right. And LG would be nice enough to throw in the bio.link/graverev, where you can find links to our TikTok, our Insta,
yes,
our Facebook, our great merch. We've got some merch shirts out there. I got to pick up a couple of my own.
I'm really hoping that the Tuesday Terror shirt is going to be ready by the time this show airs. That's what we're hoping for.
That would be cool. Stop by. There's also an email in there. Click on that email. Tuesday Terror is our grab bag for horror. It kind of breaks us out of the box of just movies for shows like this, for being able to talk to you guys about stuff. You want something to cover? You have a movie that you would love to cover with us? Absolutely. Reach out to us. Throw us an email. And we'll try to work something out. We are just 2 guys trying to get through the world as 2 guys, and we love horror. So 2 guys loving horror. And if you want to be the third,
you know where we're at. We're always in. We're always in for a good horror menage a trois. Wait a minute. Did I just say that out loud? I didn't mean that, honey. If you're listening,
he meant it in a different way, the good way.
Wait a minute. The good way would be the way that would get me in trouble.
Stay spooky, friends.
And that being said, as we like to say on Great Reviews, whenever we're signing off, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. May all your nightmares be groovy. Have a great night, everybody. See you soon, guys.